Hey guys, welcome back to Music Talk with John. I'm in the car and I just left Walmart and I had like an idea to sort of challenge myself to listen to some stuff that's out there now, new stuff. So I literally went to the vinyl area and their vinyl's always a mess, but I just went down the row and just straightened out each stack of records in the front row. Didn't move anything around, just straightened them up. And then I took a video of all the vinyl on the first row. There's about 11 albums. And my challenge to myself is to listen to each one of these 11 albums. Some I'm familiar with in the way that I've heard of them, but not heard the album. I don't think I've heard any of the albums except there was a Quiet Riot in there, Metal Health, and I haven't. I had it on vinyl at one point when I started collecting again and got rid of it because it just wasn't a solid album to me at the time. The hits, it was almost worth keeping because of the hits and the nostalgic reasons, but I didn't keep it. I got rid of it. So there's 11 albums there. I think there's like a Billie Eilish in there. There's a Maggie Smith or something. I've seen this album a couple times, but I haven't checked it out. Olivia Rodrigo is in there. So these are things I'm normally not going to listen to. I'm going to do my ranking system for these albums where I do a one out of three. If you've watched my videos before, you might be familiar with how I do it, but it's just a one, two, or three. It's one, never listen to that song again. Two, it's borderline. It's kind of in there. Could grow on me. Might fade out. And three, solid song. Love it. Put it on a playlist kind of thing. I'm going to go through each album and do a ranking of that. It's going to be an honest listen. I'm going to just listen to each song individually and give it a grade of what I'm feeling at that time. And I'll present it to you. So there you go. That's what I'm doing. Hear the albums, and then when you see me again, it will be with the ranking of these albums. So gonna be a little time adjustment. What do you call it? Forward, back in time, because this is going to be whenever I'm filming this now compared to 11 albums later. So it's going to take me a little time. So that's how we're doing it. Okay, so I listened to all 11 albums. I'm glad I did this. These are artists, album covers that I've seen, artists that I've heard of, but never really. Some I've heard some of their music, some I've heard none of their music. And it gave me an opportunity to just try something new. And I think that's always good to go out there and explore music. It could be a bad thing too, because then you end up with a whole bunch of albums more than you probably need. But I always like to explore new things and try new music out and try to keep an open mind about everything. And I think I did pretty good job with this. So I listened to all 11 albums and I'm going to give you like my honest opinion about it. I took notes, so I kept everything fresh. One thing that I noticed that these modern artists, they like to swear a lot, and I don't know what that's all about. I'm not a prude. I'll drop my F-bombs and whatever, and I try to keep this channel clean, but I filter myself a little bit for the channel I want it to be comfortable for whoever's watching to watch and not worry about it, unnecessary cursing to go on. I think there's a time and a place for it, but anyway, that's not what this is all about. I have no problem when a curse word fits, when it works with the music. But many times it feels forced. It's almost like they have to fill a quota. Did you get that F bomb in there? Did you get some curse words in that song? No, well, we better get them in there. So it feels forced. I wrote down my thoughts on this that it's not the word itself, really. I thought about it. I'm like, why am I so turned off by, you know, language? But I kind of thought about it and realize what it really is. And I put here a badly placed curse word is the same, maybe even worse, as a bad lyric. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It's like when somebody rhymes badly, or goes easy, takes the easy route and makes an easy rhyme, and the poetry's lost and things like that. That's what I think uh, irritates me or makes me notice it. It's not just the new guys too. There's some artists that have been around for a while. Sorry, I keep looking down, but I have notes here. There's artists that have been around a while too that are guilty of it too. Springsteen was dropping some f bombs on It's a Dustin or High Hopes. He had Harry's Place, I think is the name of the song. It's, in Springsteen, it's like, man, what a great writer, poet, and he kind of took that road. And I don't know if it was just the feel of the song, and he was at a point where like I'll just throw whatever I'm thinking out there, because he also had Devils and Dust, and there's a song I believe it's called Nevada on there. It's a beautiful song, very graphic, but it works because it is poetic. It is about a man and a woman in a motel room, and they're carrying on acts, and he's kind of looking out the window, and he just doesn't want to be there, so it paints the picture perfectly. So as graphic as that song is, I think it's great. It's just well written, so that doesn't bother me. And the first time I heard it, I'm like, what is, how Springsteen mumbles? I heard the lyric, what he was saying, I was like, did he just say what I think he said? And I looked up the lyrics, I'm like, holy crap. So anyway, that's what it is. I think if it's like a bad lyric. If you just throw these curse words in there, you're throwing them around, it's lost on me why you're doing it, and unless it really fits for some reason. Like Billy Joel did it in Laura, and even he said, I couldn't think of another word to put in there besides that F bomb, and it fits so perfectly. If you ever listen to Laura, you'll see what I'm saying, and it does. It works, and it never was a problem because it fit what he was doing. Big Shot, he throws, "Don't come bitching at me" in there. It works. It's part of the song. Sheryl Crow throws one out in Diamond Ring, and she's angry in that song. It's about her breakup with Lance Armstrong, and she's pissed. And it comes out. I think she did a great. I was kind of shocked, like, oh, Cheryl threw one out there, but it worked. So that's not a problem. So we're going to start at the top here. Adele was the first one. Now I'm an Adele rooter. I don't know if I'm a complete fan. I do like her live at Royal Albert Hall. I have that on CD. And I really liked 25. The first two, I have all her stuff either on CD. Yeah, I have the first three on CD, and I have 30, or I'm sorry, 25 on album and CD. But 30 just isn't working for me. That came out in 2021, and my notes were feels very personal. My Little Love is like her talking to a child, her child. I don't know if that's her child actually in the recording or not. It's very personal. So there are parts of it that I do get, and I understand what she was doing with this album, but musically, and it's like a concept thing, it just didn't work for me. My notes here: inspired by Adele's experiences and anxiety following her divorce and its impact on her son's life, along with motherhood and fame. All that's in there. It's definitely in there. What doesn't work for me is the songs sound like the music is trying to form to the lyrics. This is always a problem for me. So the music's written, and then she got all these ideas and words to get out, and the music kind of took a back seat, and there was a lot of that in there. So that's what, kind of threw me, or didn't throw me, but just didn't grab me. The album felt long, and that's never a good sign. So that's what I'm talking about. The material felt redundant. It did, and this is not a critique on, because I understand what she's doing, so I want to drive that point home that I get what she was doing with this album. It just didn't work for me, but I'm glad she was able to express herself, and maybe it was like a therapeutic thing for her to get all this out, and that's awesome. This is an album, yeah, Adele needed to get out of her system, and we'll see what happens next. Because I loved 25. 25 all the way through is like a greatest hits for me. I'm looking forward to the next one. Highlights on this one were Easy on Me, My Little Love, and I think that's the one where she's talking to her child, and a song called I Drink Wine. So those are kind of highlights. So I do like a little grading system. I'm not going to get into how I do it, but I ended up with I don't know if it matters, 67%, which is a D. So not something I'll be looking forward to, or I'll be purchasing. Next one was Lizzo. I think the first word on the album was an F bomb. Boom, straight out the gate. And she continued it all the way through. And that was Lizzo's specialty. Now, I'm not saying the lyrics were bad. She had something to say. Um, so I get what she's doing, and maybe I'm not her audience. I'm realizing that too. You can't be an audience, a member of an audience for every artist, basically. The language is a turn off because yeah, it was a lot in there, but she has a great voice. Love listening to her sing. That's what kind of turned me off of that last Beyonce album. I gave that one a shot, and I'm like, man, Beyonce just takes the low road on all this stuff. I don't know. I can appreciate the talent, but it's just not my kind of music. That's what I was saying. The songs are catchy and have really good hooks. They are. And I didn't grade anything like real low just because, oh, I don't like this. A lot of them got like a middle ground for me. So I did enjoy it, but it just didn't catch me all the way. Seems to me that she has a message with each song, especially the song Special, and I think that's the one where she deals with some weight issues and things like that, and she's able to express herself through that. So I like all that. I did listen to it, understood what she was doing, but it's just overall the music and style's not for me. It did a little bit better than Adele. It was like a 72% like scale, and that puts it around a C for me. Highlights on here, About Damn Time. I like that song. It's a good song. It's catchy. When it comes on, I listen to it. Be Loved, Am I Ready? Was another one, and I think those are the top two right there for me. Then the next one was a surprise. It was Harry Styles, Fine Line 2019. I believe that was his second album. And I'm doing all this, and I actually had all this prepared. So there's the Adele album. I had all my toys all ready for you guys. I'm doing a new system here, and I didn't put it up. So there's Adele 30, the one that I talked about. Good thing I didn't get too far with it. And there's the Lizzo album. So those are the two albums I checked out. I'll try to do this, put the album covers up there going forward. I was really surprised at this album. I just assumed young artists today are gonna just sound alike and use the programmed electronic drums, drum beats, and all that stuff. And his music had depth and a lot of good stuff. It's modern production with a hint of the past, if that makes sense. Well written, well produced, good lyrics, harmonies, and hooks. It just took me. And there's parts that remind me of Bowie. There's parts that remind me of other artists. A little bit of psychedelic in there, believe it or not. I think he just tried something different with each song. There was a lot of variety, so I was happy with it. And believe it or not, I ended up picking it up. There it is. There's my Harry Styles to go next to Harry Styles. And I listened to more of his music after I was finished with this, and I picked up his first album. Went ahead and got that one. And while I was at it, I went ahead and picked up his latest release. So I'm complete on Harry Styles. Went from 0 to 3 very quickly. Surprised myself. Really did. Interesting. So went crazy on the Harry Styles. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. Got a little bit of ribbing on it the other night, but I'm going to take some hits for Harry because I think he deserves some recognition. I really do. I like to see a young artist like this doing what he's doing. So it got an A for me. It was like a high 92%. There's a lot of it was mostly most of the album was the yeah, I would name every song on here. So the ones that were just a little bit less, but not stinkers or fillers, was like Lights Up, To Be So Lonely, and Fine Line. And those were like I wouldn't even say weaker. They were just the ones I don't know how you describe it. They didn't stick out like the other ones, but they weren't bad songs. So yeah, Harry Styles. Yeah, it was really cool. Next one here is by Harry and was this album here 21 Pilots, Scaled and Icy from 2021. First song was good. It came in, it had promise. I was like, ooh, I might like this. And reminded me of Ben Folds a little bit, the style of the piano and all that in there. But the songs don't offer much variety. Production makes the songs sound similar, so there was a lot of that running through there. Their songs appear to be designed for the dance floor, a lot of moving around and all that. I like the mix of singing and fast talk or rap that they do, so I didn't mind that so much. Started getting bored about 5 songs in, so that's a problem, right? Can't be doing that and like an album. The album couldn't have just been. It could have just been one whole song, as far as I'm concerned. So there wasn't a lot of variety. But on a positive note, all the songs seem to be upbeat and could put a person in a good mood. And I noted here that it's good like background music if you're working around the house or something. It's good to have. You could put it on and put you in a good mood and all that. So that it would work. Would I buy the album? No, because overall, if I want to do that, I'll put on a good jazz album. So it got like a 55% for me. It's the first F of the group. Just a lot of low scores, just a lot of songs I could care less about. The first one, Good Day, I gave a good rating to, and then there was a song called Mulberry Street that I liked a lot. It's really well produced and cool things in there. But after that, it was like, it's not working for me. Again, I'm probably not their audience. So that goes by, and here comes 21 Pilots. What? No. Hold on. I just did 21 Pilots. It's Linkin Park. There it goes. I keep pointing in the wrong direction. Hey, look over there. No, it's right here.
My lighting stinks too. I got to work on this whole thing, but bear with me, guys. Bear with me. This is I keep looking. Oh my God. Okay, Minutes to Midnight, 2007. It's a mix of heavy metal and some rap, right? If you know Linkin Park, I knew enough of them to know what I was kind of getting into. But it's very angry music, and at times beautiful. So it's a mix in there. Strong voice, definitely a screamer. What's his name? Chester Bennington. Very heavy and modern production and a lot of sound effects in there. The lyrics seem to contemplate life and the meaning of life, which is interesting. I put here because of the way, Chester Bennington passed away. He took his own life a couple years after Chris Cornell, I believe. So there was a kind of touched me a little bit in a way of understanding what he was going through. He had like a mental illness, as from I understand, and how he passed away and all that. So some of the lyrics, struck me. I can't say they didn't. The lyrics speak of someone who appears strong on the outside, fragile and unstable on the inside. It's obviously a good album, but it's just not for me. Found myself getting bored. So I could get good band, songs that are probably for other people, but it just wasn't working for me. That one got about a 67%, so got a D in my book. Next one is boom, boom, My Chemical Romance. Danger Days, The True Life of the Fabulous Killjoys, 2010. And this thing was just um, very theatrical, a lot of energy. They did rock at times. It had some of that profanity in there, but it wasn't obnoxious. It worked at points. The lyrics seem to be based in fantasy or for a good time, like a party. Nothing really memorable from this album. It's not for me. Maybe a younger crowd. Yeah, maybe that's what it is too. But I don't know. I listen to new stuff too. So I don't know if younger crowd is the right word for that or right phrase for that. Not enough variety. A lot of distortion is used to fill the songs. So I felt like that was just there to kind of fill it in, kind of thing. So as far as yeah, My Chemical Romance, it this one got a C. I didn't write the percentage down, but I wrote the C. So got a C. So I won't be out looking for this album. Then My Chemical Romance. Then there is Billie Eilish. Now I've heard of her. Obviously, I've heard some of her songs. One of my daughters was into her very early on. She liked her weirdness and the album covers and stuff, and then she kind of grew out of it. Not into Billy at this point, but definitely a beautiful voice. You could almost call her like a modern day vocalist or like a singer of standards, like a Sinatra or something. That's what category I would put her in. She has the modern production, but she kind of sings in that tone. She'll hit some notes here and there, but to me, it's kind of like the same uh, level of singing through the whole thing, almost like a Sinatra or whatever. So that's where I would categorize her as like almost a vocalist. She seems to stay in her comfort zone as far as range of singing. Like I said, she'll go up there from time to time, but she stays in that comfort zone. And Not My Responsibility had a good message about body image and judgment. There are a lot of effects, but not in a good way. It's almost like they had to use everything available for that, and it got annoying at times. There was a lot of effects, and there were changes, but after a while, I'm like, all right, are you guys done playing with the toys? I found myself bored about 6 songs in, just waiting for it to be over. It is a slow moving album, and it's not about that. There's slow moving albums that I've gotten into, but this one just was just okay. Okay, wake me up a little bit. A lot of drum beats and synthesizer, but not a lot of depth to the music. And she has obvious talent, but this style isn't for me. I think that's fair, right? Give my honest opinion on Billy. Sure, she's doing just fine without me, me buying her album. So next one here is Maggie Rogers. It's an album cover that I've seen before. I guess it would help to show you guys right there. I'd seen it sitting at Walmart many times and just happened to be on the front row this time. Maggie Rogers, she has a nice strong voice. Voice sounds like a mix between Brandy Carlisle and Sheryl Crow. It's like a pop rock album. The songs are good, catchy, but nothing spectacular. It's got through it, didn't get bored, but didn't really hit me. So I don't know if it's an album I need to listen to again. Not sure. I might go back and revisit it. Have you ever realized that you just don't care one way or another about a song, is what I wrote. So that's the feel, right? Sometimes you hear an album, you go, I don't know how I feel about this. Is it because I've heard this style many, many times, and it's just nothing new, but it's not bad. Probably be like a good concert to go to. So that's what I found myself thinking in this one, just don't really care, yeah, one way or the other. And I don't know if I gave you the grade on the Billie Eilish. She got a C as far as that album goes. And this one here is a 69%. So again, don't I'm not going to explain how I get to my numbers. So that's about a C, right? That's a D. Yeah. High D, whatever. So yeah, maybe now I'm again. I just need to give another listen. So you might want to check that one out. Not a bad album. Next one here is one that I actually owned. Quiet Riot, Metal Health. I actually had this album and I got rid of it, and I'm like, well, maybe I should give this a listen again because I do like those two first songs. The first two songs are classics. If you grew up in the '80s, you know those songs. The Metal Health, Bang Your Head, and Come On Feel the Noise, a cover song that Slade wrote, but Quiet Riot had a big hit with. So those are the big ones. Don't Want to Let You Go, I liked also. And the rest of the songs are like middle ground for me, and the last two just kind of didn't work for me. Just, it's again, I didn't feel one way or the other about the other songs, basically like the other Maggie Rogers stuff. It was cool to listen to them, and I realized while I was listening to them, I really couldn't remember the videos. I couldn't remember how it went, and that was a good thing, like just to be able to listen to the song and not have the video in your mind. And I still like, just really love those two first songs, just really good. So it's kind of neat to experience it like that without picturing the video because the first time I ever heard it was through the video. I think I had a cassette of it in the '80s. It rocks all the way through, but it's lacking something, maybe variety. I think that's what it is. And then Thunderbird, which is the last song, is a bad attempt at an '80s power ballad as far as I'm concerned. Just bad lyrics and didn't feel sincere. Just felt like we need to crank out a ballad here, and here it goes. And I don't even, it wasn't even like a love ballad or anything. It just was a, what felt like a ballad, a '80s rock ballad, and just didn't work for me. So won't be picking Quiet Riot up. Maybe the singles, I don't know. Maybe a greatest hits. I don't know. But got like a 70%, so like a C for me. What did we have next? Olivia Rodrigo and her album Sour from 2021. You know, I really listened to this one. I really, this is kind of a cool experience to realize, why I'm buying some music and not the other. So she had a good voice. Can't, she has a very good voice, good production. Her voice was way up in there too. That did kind of annoy me from sometimes. It's almost like you could hear her lips smacking together almost at times. And I was like, okay, get that mic off a little bit. Good production, rocks in places, pop rock, well constructed songs, good lyrics. I'm going to give it that. I'll talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. Um, and I just often, again, going back into the cursing, she likes to throw the words around, and I'm just like, sometimes it feels forced in there. And that's the whole thing. Today's artists, blah, blah, blah. Um, and again, it's not a judgment, it's just an observation and curiosity. And I explained earlier what I kind of realized about it's like a bad lyric, right? Definitely feeling my age with this album. Very young, high schoolish content. And it's not really relatable for males over 50 or 40 or maybe even 30. That's why I don't get older guys, in their 30s, 40s that are into Olivia Rodrigo or Taylor Swift. I don't get it. Just the content is not, I don't need to know about high school BS. And I know Taylor doesn't really do that as much as far as I know, because I don't know a lot of her content, but the hits that I've heard, but it still feels like it's for a younger teenage girl audience, in my opinion. Better suited for an angry female teenager, I believe. There you go. And would I buy this? Nope. Not gonna buy it, but hey, she does just fine without me. I gave the overall album like a 79%. It's a C plus, because I still looked at the songs honestly, like, are these good songs? Do they work? Are the lyrics good? Melodies, hooks, all that, and they had it. So even though I wasn't into it, I still have to recognize the work and the talent there. So that's just how it works. All right. Then this one was another one that I am going to go back and listen to this because it did interest me. And it took me by surprise also. I was expecting something a little bit different. But it's Maren Morris, Humble Quest. I didn't write down when this came out, but I think in the very beginning it sounded like, oh, here we go. We're going to have the country twang with the pop music background. And I don't, it kind of started that way. And then she went away from it with the production and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, we're doing something different here. And it's refreshing that it wasn't overproduced. She has a nice, strong voice, good lyrics, hint of country with a pop appeal. Um, but not, like I was saying, the modern country is, hey, I'm going to fake a country accent, even though I'm from Australia, and I'm going to put that steel guitar in there to make this pop song sound country. That's what I feel. I didn't feel that from her. It felt more sincere. It's like Chris Stapleton. He's more R&B soul to me than country, even though he has it in there. And she kind of reminded me of that, the way she put this album together. So I'm going to give this album here, I'm definitely going to give that a second listen. So that's what I have. So I'm glad I did this. It's a very cool experience to do this. I might do it again. Might just go somewhere and go, all right, I'm going to take the first, 11 albums wasn't too bad. I listened to it over time and took my notes. So might do it again if I go somewhere and just grab the front row or second row or who knows next time. But let me know what you guys think about these albums. If you have experience with them, definitely put it in the comments below if you have anything to say about my opinions. I just try to keep it fair for what I like, but kind of let you guys know about it too. And, and we'll talk in the comments down there. So that's what I have for you guys. So until next time, hope you guys enjoy your music and you take care out there, all right? Bye.